What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at inform Hummels, and not necessarily the one that I think everyone would want, but I'm thinking he's practically one of the better reds you can get tomorrow, and that says something about this team of the week. Unfortunately, we will be doing Gnabry, Felix and Ziyech in the next couple of reviews. Hopefully they'll all be out by tonight if I can get the gameplay done before I need to go to bed, basically. But we did get Hummels done just after Benzema in terms of the same game. And he's dropped in price. We've had to change the complete of the overall review because I didn't really think he'd drop as much as he did, even though that sounds very silly. Someone with 60 pace as a centre-back more than likely isn't gonna do well in terms of price, but I thought he may hold his price a little bit. You can get him up to 70 pace with practically 99 defending in terms of chemistry styles, which I think a lot of people would say a shadow is what you really want from him. He is only 60k, which I think is brilliant, and obviously he will keep dropping as we get into rewards, as we get into road to the final, so definitely look at picking one up potentially. With icon SBCs just around the corner, he is going to be mad expensive if there is very high rated SBCs that require one team of the week at the minimum. Being German, centre back and 87 rated, I think if he's not a player that you want in your team, definitely someone you could have as a fodder, someone to invest in potentially. It's just a little hint. But anyway, let's get into the in-game stats. We'll then look at some gameplay from him, and then we'll do the overall review as we normally do. So let's get it. So with Hummels, unfortunately, he isn't blessed with the amount of pace of a centre-back that is meta in this game. His defensive ability is bar none. He is incredible on them tackles, and that's always something with these kind of slower defenders, someone who's necessarily been around. It's been around the game. We're changing our whole centre-backs in terms of actual football. Instead of now just being a tackler, someone who oofs the ball, a bit of a bully boy at the back, we're now going to an all-round centre-back, someone who can do everything. Got a bit of passing, got a bit of dribbling, they've got pace, they've got physicality, they've got defending. They are an overall monster at the back. That's very much like Virgil. It's very much like someone like Joe Gomez. Very lean, very strong kind of players, but can still be technical with the ball. And obviously with Hummels, he's very much like a Puyol, like a Chiellini, Thiago Silva back in the day. They're not necessarily gifted on dribbling, but what they can do is absolutely nail someone. And unfortunately, that doesn't really transpire too well into the game. We're finding that anyone with a pace below 75, even to an extent later on in the game, 80 is still considered lower. So if you've got 60 with 48 acceleration, unfortunately, you're not going to make it into many people's teams, which is unfortunate because obviously defensively, there's nothing wrong with him. It is literally just the pace. He's got decent short and long. He's got a good composure at 90, 88 reactions, 82 ball control, 64, 61 agility balance. I feel like with a good defensive tactic, you can still deal with agility and balance being low as long as you have the pace there. Unfortunately, he doesn't have both. He has 90 defending, which gives you 87 and 89 slide and stand, 91 defensive awareness, and 92 interceptions with 88 strength. And another big negative for him is he only has 67 pace, or 67 stamina in fact. For me, this card isn't the greatest. He will do for an untradeable first owner Bundesliga team for the first set of icon swaps if we do get them objectives. But in terms of what we could have, there's Lucas Hernandez. Is it Lucas? Yeah, Lucas Hernandez. We've got Upamecano in form. We've got Klosterman. We've got, I'm trying to think of any other ones. Boateng even looks relatively good on a gold. There is already so many gold cards that are technically better than Hummels in terms of meta ability or metability. They're just better in general. So unfortunately for Hummels, he more than likely will be a fodder player straight off the bat. But I thought, you know what? Some of these players I like to show you because maybe you're a BVB fan. You want to know how good Hummels is. Probably you already know if you're already a BVB fan, you've probably got him in your team, and so rightly so. I personally like a Man U team, and would I get everybody in the team and sometimes maybe not be great? Luke Shaw, not a great left back. I had him in previous FIFAs and I've used him. Now we've got Tellers, obviously a bit better in that position, but it's the same with Hummels. There is only so many defenders in a team. Luckily they have got Delaney as an inform there, and then also they've got a Kanji, but Then you're taking Delaney out of the kind of midfield, hoping that maybe you've done a Witsel flashback. There's so many options to what you can actually do with a kind of one club team. With Hummels, I think he's alright, but he's not really going to go too far in many people's teams in my opinion. But anyway, let's get into the gameplay and see what he did. So with Hummels, the one thing you'll see is a cracking tackler. That is about it. Interceptions wise and tackling, if you get it right, he's a fantastic defender. If you let them go past him, if they let you do a bit of skill past him, he's got no hope, unfortunately. His turn is literally like a truck. But the one thing that always works for him is just standing off them, and as soon as they make that move, if they make that wrong move and you've kind of gave him 2 yards, you're always going to be able to go in and nail him. He's got a great lunge, being quite tall. He's always managing to kind of hit the ball away from the defender, away from the attacker, and he's really good at that. That's the kind of the best thing about him. Other than that, there's mediocre to him. Passing wise, it's okay, nothing too spectacular, and really you're not going to be dribbling down a pitch with him, so it doesn't really matter how good his passing is as long as he can get it out to the left and right back. Dribbling wise, again, it's a centre back. I'm not really going to comment too much on his ability on the ball going forward, because that's really kind of, as you kind of go into the kind of team of the seasons, as you go into the high rated informs and stuff like that with more ability and more kind of allowance to do so as such. But going into the overall review for him then, we're not going to spend too much time on him because he isn't a great player, and predominantly not many people are going to have him in his team. This is just to kind of get the balance of team of the weeks out, trying to get them reviews going and really showing a broad spectrum of kind of Virgil versus Hummels, Joe Gomez versus Militao, and just making my catalogue of reviews a lot wider, a lot more kind of diverse in the sense of the top rated players, the low rated players, the meta players, the non-meta players, and obviously Hummels falls into that non-meta fodder kind of player, and unfortunately for him, he's been dealt a crap hand in terms of his stats. As you can see, 48 acceleration is never enough. He's got great defending. Physicals, bar from the strength, is the only good stat there really. We've got great composure, reaction to ball control, but agility and balance is awful, and that's really about all the card. If we was to whack a shadow on, we do get 70 pace, 97 defending, giving him a 92 overall centre back, but unfortunately it's just not going to be enough. In terms of generations, obviously he's been around from the very start, and it'd be interesting if we look at, say, FIFA 13, 65 pace. He's always been blessed with the non-acceleration pretty much. Let's go a little bit up. We don't really see too much acceleration there. What about if we go to the bottom then? 74 is probably one of his highest. If we just have a quick look at FIFA 11, 74 again. So when he was kind of younger, he had a little bit of pace, but over the course, he's just not really had it. Managing to get himself a team of the season last year, obviously the year before that at Bayern. Then he got one in FIFA 18 and 17, 16 as well. Bar from that, can we see another one from him? I don't know. I feel like there's going to be a lot of kind of competition now. Now Alaba's in the centre-back role and we've got a few decent players going in there. It's going to be interesting to see who gets team of the season this year. But obviously that is a far, far way away. So let's get into the end of this and just finish it off. For me, I've given him a 6.5 out of 10. I think he's great at his defending, rubbish on his pace. Would you go for him? Probably not. I'd say he'd be worth as a cheeky investment at some point during the road to the final packs, and that is about it. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. I'll be back with either Felix, Gnabry or Ziyech next, so make sure you sub and like this video for the algorithm. That's it for the next one. Peace.